Am I the asshole for ignoring my friend's calls after his husband passed away? I used to be friends with my neighbor Eli. He has a husband, Leo. About 1.5 years ago I distanced myself from Eli mainly because he's kind of selfish and wasn't a very good friend. I was still very friendly with both Eli and Leo, though, as we very briefly ran into each other once in a while. I've been very depressed recent months. After crying all morning, I went shopping just to get out of the house. While out, I saw a bunch of missed calls and a text from Eli saying, "Leo just passed, please answer." I called him and all I could understand through his crying was, "Please come over." So I rushed back. I saw an ambulance outside of our building. I thought, I wonder if Leo is in it. I could hear Eli screaming as I ran down the hallway to their apt, and as I opened the door, I saw Leo's dead body on the floor and Eli hugging him, sobbing, inconsolable. They were watching TV when Leo suddenly got up and said he has pain in his chest, then collapsed. Paramedics came and pronounced him dead. They said we now have to wait for police. We were waiting like this on the floor, Eli sobbing and hugging Leo's body, and me hugging Eli for almost 2 hours. Then police came, and we sat on the couch right in front of Leo for another few hours. I did my best to stay calm and collected and help Eli. Many hours later, they took Leo away. Eli asked me to help call Leo's parents, who didn't know he was gay or married. He used Leo's phone and called his mom, but she thought he was joking. He cried so hard I had to take over and break her heart myself. Eli called his friends and family, begging to come be with him. Eventually Eli's cousins came but didn't stay long. I stayed till late night, ordered food, cleaned, etc. We watched TV under the same blanket I used to cover Leo's body. I didn't sleep that night. Next day his cousins came back for a short time and left a mess. Multiple times Eli's family and friends mentioned, "Luckily that girl lives in the same building." I started feeling I'm being used as an excuse to not step up. Eventually, I got home and slept. As I woke up I realized I physically can't go back there. Just the thought of entering that apartment makes me shake. Eli kept calling me and I didn't respond. I eventually texted him I got sick. But he keeps calling me. I'm afraid if I answer he'll cry and ask me to come. I feel deeply affected by what happened. I keep seeing flashbacks. I'm afraid to leave my apartment because I'm afraid to run into Eli. I was already depressed and I'm so lonely. I don't have any support system. My therapy doesn't start for another 2 weeks. I don't have anyone to talk to. I feel so guilty for ghosting Eli in this horrible situation when his whole world collapsed. Am I the asshole? No, dear, there's no. This was a catastrophe and you are in crisis and need help. What happened to you was very traumatic and you are traumatized. You need to find help from your loved ones, or professionals, if those resources are available to you, to heal from this. You can't draw water from an empty well, and in my opinion, you should only consider assisting Eli in ways that contribute to or at least don't completely derail your recovery. You've already been more help to them than anybody else has. You can't keep anybody warm by setting yourself on fire. I'm so sorry this happened to both of you. What a horrible, tragic experience and loss. Not the asshole, but honestly, I would just straight up text him that you are having panic attacks and flashbacks to yesterday and you can't function. If he was your friend, he knows that already, and while upset will get it. My brother's death was hard, but I didn't blame anyone else for being as freak out as me, and I never saw his body. Death is hard. Good luck. Edit. Also, he might be texting because he's worried what he did to you yesterday if you have an anxiety or panic disorder. That happens often with other people during a crisis. Afterwards they remember I can shut down and go into agoraphobia panic attacks. Nah, his husband just died and you were kind enough to help him through the immediate aftermath. It does suck that he doesn't have a support system he needs, but you don't either. You do need to respond to him and tell him that you can't emotionally support him how he needs right now. He will probably take this badly, but there is nothing you can do about that. Be honest, offer your condolences, but don't let him guilt you into offering help you aren't equipped to provide. You recognize that you can't help him and yourself simultaneously. I think you have done as much as you can. I would text. I apologize for just getting back to you so late, but I have something I'm currently going through. I'm not okay. And right now with what you are going through, I don't want to go into details. I'm sorry for your loss, and when I'm back to being 100%, please allow me to be there for you. Talk to you soon, Red Heart. You have to think about yourself, as hard as it is. If you are not okay you will be no good to anyone else. I hope he can understand that. Babe, you were there when it mattered the most and that's already huge. It's okay to set limits because our own mental health is real and important. You ain't a bad friend for needing space, especially when you are struggling too. Eli's loss is massive but you can't pour from an empty cup, and it's okay to step back till you are ready. Just be honest with him when you can, but don't guilt yourself. Nah, But I feel like you could just text him and let him know about your mental health. No one is a bad person here. Would I be the asshole if I told my guests that it was awful having them stay over? I, 24 female, and my fiancé, 25 male, from Germany had guests from the US for the last 10 days. Let's call them Tim, 27 male, and Tara, 24 female. I met Tim online during the pandemic. We bonded over talking about everything that was going on, our different experiences growing up, etc. We also talked about him visiting Germany since he had been wanting to come back. 5 years later I am with my fiancé and he has a girlfriend of 3 years, we are still talking regularly. My fiancé and I just moved into a bigger place and decide to ask if they want to come visit. Everyone was stoked and we helped them book the flights, work out an itinerary for their stay that even includes a weekend in Paris, and try to make our appartement as comfortable as possible for their stay. They want to sleep in different beds, which makes everything complicated, but we manage. At this point I have never talked to Tara and try to reach out. She misses our first call, but it works out a week before they fly in and I try to get to know her. We pick them up on Thursday. The airport is an hour from where we live and it's 6 a.m. Everyone is tired. We get to our place, show them around, show them their beds made and ready with towels and some goodies. They don't thank us. I think it's because they had a long flight and let them unpack. We go out grocery shopping and try to get everything they want. There's a discussion about how awful it is that there are no public bathrooms available everywhere because Tim has to pee 10 minutes after we leave the apartment. It's awkward, conversation is slow, I think it's jet lag. We leave for Paris Friday morning. I organized the trip and didn't get any input from them. Paris is okay, they don't talk a lot, don't give their opinion, I'm at a loss. We get back, no thanks. We spend Monday separately and wanted to spend the evening together. They arrive 45 minutes late without telling us. The next day we drive them an hour to my parents so they can pick up the car that my parents loaned them for a couple of days. They leave, we get one message a day. Saturday is our engagement party. They don't bring a gift or card, they don't even congratulate us. Sunday night Tim and Tara ask us if we'll be driving them back to the airport. I ask them if it would be okay if they took a bus back. They're okay with it, I had to book it for them. We bring them to the bus stop Tuesday morning, say goodbye and still not one thanks or criticism or anything. No thanking is one thing, the other is budget. Told me they are on a strict budget. I tried to keep the costs at a minimal. They proceeded to buy souvenirs like model guns for hundreds of euro. I just feel very used. Would I be the asshole if I said STH? Is there something I am not seeing? I tried to get their thoughts and opinions every step of the way and they didn't say anything. Normally everyone loves the way we host. Personally I've always been a fan of open communication, but maybe this is normal and can be put under cultural differences. I don't want to be rude. You would not be the but what are you trying to gain out of this? You made friends. Found out friends are rude when you met them in person. Now you just gradually cut contact with them or continue to chat occasionally but never plan a visit in person. Unless these are people you need to interact with for other reasons, there is no point. And personally, I wouldn't feel it is worth giving feedback about manners like this unless folks are like my kids, siblings, someone younger I am guiding. Of course, if their rudeness was hurtful and they were mean, then stand up to it. But something like this? Cut your losses and move on. Not the asshole. I wouldn't bother telling them. My guess is that the couple either had a furious fight or even broke up before arriving. It wouldn't surprise me at all that he tells you in the weeks ahead that he is single again. Honestly, they sound like guests that didn't want to interact with you outside of having a place to sleep, which is awful. A thank you and a small gift would have been appropriate, or even taking you all out for a dinner on them. I would just say hey, thanks for the visit, but it seems it wasn't what you all really wanted. Not the asshole, but what's the point? You'll never invite them again. You learned a lesson not to be too giving. I would just let it go and move on. Who needs long-distance drama without the opportunity to gain anything? This is not a cultural difference. These Americans were extraordinarily rude. Not the asshole, but unless you plan to keep in touch, I wouldn't bother. I'm an American, that is not a cultural difference. Not thanking your hosts is incredibly rude. Am I the asshole for snapping at a thrift store clerk after she made a comment about my body? So this just happened today and I've been going back and forth in my head about whether I overreacted. For context, I've always been pretty average weight growing up, but a few years ago I started gaining weight without really noticing. It wasn't some big dramatic shift, it just slowly crept up on me. I stopped weighing myself after I hit 93 kilograms, 205 pounds, and just kind of gave up on checking after that. Then 2 years ago, after having my first child, I decided to take control of my health. I've worked my ass off since then and I've lost over 30 kilograms, 66 pounds. I now weigh around 60 kilograms, 132 pounds, and I've been maintaining that weight for a few months. It's honestly one of the hardest and most rewarding things I've ever done in my 33 years in life, next to having my child OFC. Anyway, onto what happened today. I will try to write out word for word the interaction that happened, as I remember it at least. Today I went into this cute secondhand store, just browsing for fun. I spotted this absolutely stunning vintage dress, probably a size 36 or 38, EU. It looked almost too good to be true, but I tried it on anyway and it fit. Snug, but it fit. I felt amazing. At the checkout, I mentioned to the clerk how excited I was about finding it and she said something like, "Oh yeah, I tried that one on when it came in. It didn't fit me either. But hey, you never know, you might not be able to wear it for long." I was kind of taken aback and asked, "Sorry, what do you mean?" She shrugged and said something like, "Well, bodies change. You know, after kids. Life. Most women don't stay that size forever." At that point, I honestly couldn't help myself. I said, "Actually, I just lost over 30 kilos after having a baby. I've worked really hard to get here. So maybe don't assume I'm just going to blow back up, thanks." She looked kind of stunned and muttered something like, "Wasn't trying to be rude," and the rest of the transaction was super awkward. I left with the dress, but now I'm feeling weird about the whole thing. My partner thinks I didn't need to say anything and that the comment probably wasn't meant to be mean. But to me, it felt super undermining and unnecessary, like she couldn't just let me have a happy moment without making it weird or planting doubt. So Reddit, am I the asshole for snapping at her like that and not keeping my mouth shut? Not the asshole. People need to stop commenting on other people's bodies. Even offhand remarks like this can be super hurtful. And even when you're trying to compliment someone. I lost a bunch of weight and at work people I barely knew kept telling me how great I looked. Thanks, I had a heart attack and got diagnosed with several health issues. Don't take it personally. It's probably more about her than about you. She tried it on. She talked herself out of it. She had no idea about your weight loss story. You're not an asshole though. This really sounds like her voicing her own body issues, not commenting on your body. She had no way of knowing it would be a sensitive topic for you and was probably surprised to step on a landmine. From the way you put it in words here, it seemed like she was trying to commiserate with you woman to woman about body changes that we all face. It didn't seem like it was about you specifically. I think you did overreact a bit. She had no idea the context of your situation and that you just lost weight and were very pleased to be able to fit into the dress. You could have just said, "Yes, the body changes are rough. I just lost a bunch of weight after having a baby and I'm really pleased to be able to wear this cute dress." Certainly, you're not the asshole because, understandably, we get defensive about these things, but it really seems like she was trying to commiserate, not insult you. She definitely could have said it in a better way or just not have said anything. Not the asshole. It's 2025. Can we not comment on the weight of strangers unprovoked? Not the asshole, but I think her comments are based on her own weight insecurities. She really shouldn't have commented at all. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to mow the lawn before work? It's spring where I live and our grass has started growing again. My husband is usually the one who mows the lawn. On his days off, he usually says, "Wow, I need to mow the lawn," and never ends up mowing it. Eventually he says he can't do it anymore because it's too late in the day and might disturb the neighbors. He also says it's because sticks need to be picked up first and the leaves from the fall need to be removed. To help with that, I've actually went out, picked up all the sticks, bagged up the dead leaves. He still hasn't mowed it. The grass is getting very tall. I'm worried about snakes and ticks in the yard. It's also getting to the point where our lawnmower is going to have a difficult time handling it, especially in the front yard where the lawn is more lush. I had a neighbor complain to me when I was outside one day. After 2 more days off of not mowing it after he said he would, I asked him to please mow it before he goes into work. He works evenings and was scheduled to go in at 5:30 p.m. It's one of his late days. He has hours to do it between waking up and needing to get ready for work. It only takes 45 minutes. He says I'm nagging about it and he will do it when he has time. He doesn't have time and doesn't want to mow it before work because he will be tired at work. He says he will do it on his next day off. I told him he's been saying that for weeks and it hasn't been done and he just repeated that I need to stop nagging him. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to mow the lawn before he goes to work? ETA. People have asked some questions over and over. I will try to answer them. We both work. I work 40-45 hours per week. He works 30-35 hours per week. I do most of the chores inside the house. I have mowed the lawn before. I can't start the mower myself because my arms are too short. So he has to start it. Then I am guilt-tripped because he was going to do it himself. And I, meaning me, might get hurt if I do it, but he still doesn't do it. I am not dealing with that anymore. Why don't you hire someone? Why should we pay for someone to mow? Are we also going to pay someone to take cooking, cleaning, or laundry off my plate? Nope. So why would I pay for someone to mow for him? My husband doesn't permit me to mow the lawn because between my lack of depth perception, blind in one eye, and some of the holes out there, he's afraid I will get hurt. So I am not going to criticize you for not mowing yourself, because we don't know why. Speaking of my husband, he works well over 40 hours a week and still finds time to mow. Sooner or later the city is going to cite you guys. If you don't take care of it after the first notice, they will fine you, mow it for you, and charge you for the mowing service. If he won't listen to you, let him learn the hard way. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, and I don't understand all of the people saying to do it yourself. Usually you split tasks in a relationship. You might do more dishes, he handles yard work. And if he won't do what he already said he would, what makes anyone think he would do the dishes, laundry, etc. instead? Husband should have done it on his day off. We shouldn't have to nag for something to get done. But it seems like you have a bigger problem about personal responsibility, and that warrants a sit-down conversation. No, he's not gonna want to mow the lawn before a late-night shift, but he should understand what he's responsible for and the time frame in which it needs done. If you have an HOA, you could easily end up with additional fees for the grass growing above a certain height. I believe what these helpful Redditors are saying is that you should mow the yard but no longer cook dinner or clean up. Just hire someone to cut your lawn or mow it yourself and task him with some of your chores. But, I would hire a lawn service once a week and just pay for it. It's worth the money not to have this stupid tension. Not the asshole, necessarily. If him doing it is part of your established dynamic, then I can understand the frustration. But, do you work? Or are you unable to operate a mower? Because if you're just sitting at home, watching it grow and complaining about it, kind of the asshole. Growing up my parents did things evenly, and as we got older we helped out with things like mowing, weeding, etc. Nope, not the asshole. I'm in a similar boat. I went to work today at 1:30. My wife nagged me yesterday to cut the grass because I forgot. Fair enough. I told her I'd do it today before work, and I did. Actually turned out to be quite pleasant, a really beautiful day. You didn't specify what kind of work your husband does, but for comparison I used to have a desk job, but now I work at a physically demanding job. I'm also past middle age in case your husband wants to use that excuse too. Closing parenthesis.